Welcome back to another fantabulous episode of the Striped Sweater Podcast, where the best time to listen is all the time. I'm one half of your co-hosts. Arg, I am not a pirate. I'm Zach Main, and I'm here with...
I'm a guy with a mustache, Alexander Beardsley. What the heck is going on, Zach? How's life, pal?
Life is going on.
Yeah.
For sure, it keeps on moving.
Sure.
Went to Illinois this week for work.
What?
For a few days.
Travel boy, cash out.
Drove in a van.
Whoa.
I'm like, I don't even care.
Did you stay down by the river?
It was pretty close.
Not far from the river. Okay.
Yeah, not far. Actually, the lake, the Great Lake, but...
Van down by the lake. It's classier.
Yeah, so we're here with episode 16. We're here to talk about Valentine's Day as well as the paper. Two episodes that actually I kind of confused for each other. I thought at first Valentine's Day was like the Krabs Puff one, but I thought it felt early. And then the paper, the one where he writes the paper. It's neither of those.
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew which Valentine's Day episode this was, but I couldn't remember this episode, the paper, hardly at all. Both episodes are fine. They're good episodes, but these are not ones that I would consider classics. So as much as most of the others we've reviewed up until this point. And I think you pretty much agree with that, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
The paper does have some pretty good parts. I mean, they both have their moments for sure.
Yeah, but they're not the most memorable in terms of.
Yeah, I don't think they're
just
anybody's.
remembering.
I don't think they're anybody's favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're not bad at all. And don't let that discourage you, because we're gonna have fun talking about these and going through them and joking and laughing. So don't turn away. Sorry if we made it sound lame, because it's not gonna be lame. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, Zachary.
Today, by the way, the day that we're recording this, is the finale day of Game of Thrones as a whole.
Oh, it's pretty important for you.
As well as Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Money in the Bank, the WWE professional wrestling pay-per-view.
I feel like what a bad choice.
Event.
What a bad choice. I mean, it's...
Money in the Bank is one of the more fun pay-per-views, too.
I know.
It's too bad.
I don't think it was anything they could have changed. But
of course, right? All that stuff is planned out so many, at least a year in advance. So
yeah. So, with your limited knowledge of Game of Thrones, who do you think's gonna walk away on the throne tonight?
What? There's like the.
You want me to list off names?
Yeah, sure. List the names.
Will it be Daenerys Targaryen?
Okay.
Mother of Dragons.
I know who she is.
Jon Snow.
I don't know that guy. I don't think.
Tyrion Lannister, the midget, you know.
Okay. The little.
Those are the main choices for it, but I guess it could also be Samwell Tarly.
What? No way.
Sansa Stark.
What?
Arya Stark.
Arya?
Bran Stark.
Could be one of the Starks.
Could be.
Sure. No,
Could be Bronn.
I have no idea, and I don't care.
Just if you had to pick one of those, you know, then you could, when it happens, you would be like, oh my god.
I'll pick I don't know. It's not going to be the first one you said, because she's the one who just heel turned, right?
Yeah.
So she's probably not going over.
Spoiler alert.
She's probably not going over in the end, if I had to guess.
That's what I'd have to guess too, but I'm rooting for her.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
She was justified.
Of course you would. She's the one who had to have sex with that guy a lot in the first episode. That's all I remember. That like crazy brute man.
Khal Drogo.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Good times.
Yeah.
Any hoot.
His wieners, the wieners were flopping in the, you know, they were flaccid and they were flopping in the breeze. Ever so gently.
As George R.R. Martin loves.
Right. He enjoys the wieners in the morning sun. And who doesn't? But yeah, I would just wanted to say real quick, I'd like to, I mean, this doesn't really mean that much, I guess, to anybody that would be listening to this, but I'd like to dedicate this episode to two people who in my family who have recently passed away. My aunt Sally Beardsley, who was, you know, the wife of my Uncle Dan, and my Papu Charlie, my Greek grandfather. So they both recently passed away, and I recently just today, Saturday and Sunday, today is Sunday, were attending like memorial services and stuff. So it's kind of a bummer week for me. But that being said, you know, cherish your loved ones and all that. You know, life is short. Have fun. Be a good person. You know, do the things that you're supposed to do. Don't be a D-bag. But yeah, so let's get into the episode. Zachary, my friend, my amigo.
Yes.
Now that we've bummed everyone out, are you ready?
Aye, aye, Alex. Aye, aye, Alex.
Aye, aye, Alex.
Aye, aye, Alex. Hi, hi, Alex.
Which one of yous left a shit in the toilet? I know it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting. And we're back with Valentine's Day, otherwise known as February 14th.
Yeah, and the episode debuted on February the 14th.
Also the name of a movie that Taylor Swift was in.
Sure, Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
A lot of people were in that movie, I think. Never saw it.
A lot of people.
It was one of those, like, everyone's in this movies type movies.
Yeah. Like Love Actually.
Yeah, there was like a New Year's Eve one that was
Uh-huh.
like that too. Yeah. I used to work at the video store. That's how I know. I never seen these movies. I just know about them.
This is the end.
Well, yeah, that one, but that
different.
one's
Yeah.
a little different. Yeah. So this, aired February 14th, as I said, year 2000.
Do you think you had a Valentine for this Valentine's Day?
Year
We
2000.
would have been 8. Almost.
Probably not. This was second grade, so this would have been passing out with, just passing out
Yeah.
Valentines casually to everybody,
Yep.
boys and girls.
Yeah. And trying to give the ones that you like the best to the girl that
Yeah.
you like the best. But to them, it was
yeah.
like, oh.
No-
No one's like, oh, I got the better one.
Yeah,
You know,
nobody
mine says,
nobody even gives a shit.
Let's go behind the bleachers and
yeah.
talk numbers.
Talk numbers. Well, yeah, this one's 11 minutes long. Storyboard artist
Same.
was Jay Lender. You're 11 minutes long. Storyboard director was Chuck Klein. Written by them two, along with Meriwether Williams. Animation director Fred Miller, and creative director. Say my name, say my name.
It's Derek Drymon. You're goddamn right. Say my name. And I took a swig of water for the man, because we all know he can't.
The man?
Yeah, pour one out for the homie into my mouth.
The man? Who's the man?
Derek.
Oh, Double D.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This episode starts with a heart shaped coral type fixture on the outside of Con Street, and it's zooming in through it to SpongeBob's house, and the sky is pink.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Because it's Valentine's Day, so everything is festive, and even the sky knows to be pink.
Yeah, so SpongeBob comes out of his house and has like a handful of Valentine's Day hearts, and he's saying Happy Valentine's Day, and he's throwing these hearts off screen, but it's like almost like he has an infinite number of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tossing them all around. He hands one to Squidward. But Squidward tears it up like
He
a
does.
mean guy.
And then he finds Mrs. Puff and gives her one as she's driving.
Her buddy makes her crash
Yeah, into a fire
by
hydrant.
distracting her.
Yeah.
And then little Plankton is grumpily walking down the street, all grumpy. Oh, my name's Plankton. I'm so upset.
And he runs into a shoe,
Yeah, who,
a gigantic shoe.
and who is that shoe connected to? But our dear SpongeBob, who is in a giving mood, no matter the person.
And he takes tweezers and he grabs a little Valentine's heart and hands it to Plankton.
A little tiny baby one for Plankton. He thought of him. He made one for him.
Yeah, he did. And
What
then
a sweet boy.
Then he's skipping around. He doesn't want anybody to feel left out on Valentine's Day. And as a child, that was important. If everybody was getting Valentines, you wanted to get them too, right? That's why they gave them to everyone.
Right. It was like, it's just like a nice thing.
Mhm.
Everyone feels good.
Yeah.
I never had that. Like Simpsons has a very famous episode about the kid being left, Ralph Wiggum being left out on Valentine's Day. It's like the I choose you thing. You've seen that. You've had to have. It's very famous. But anyway, he's all left out because nobody gave him any Valentines. And it's like, that never happened when I was in school. Everybody gave everybody Valentines.
You were a bad parent if you let that happen.
Yeah, you were just a shithead, right? Like, if you didn't give every kid a Valentine, you were just an a-hole.
Yeah.
So, everyone got Valentines. Nobody felt left out. And nobody was really macking in that time
of course.
either. So,
I mean, I would say by then I had my first crush.
sure. Yeah. I mean, I always was interested in girls. Like, I was a straight man since the day I was born.
I asked a girl's dad if I could marry her when I was like 5
Aw.
in pre-K. It was like preschool.
Yeah, that's adorable.
He said no.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who knows what could have been. Shelby, if you're out there, I don't know her last name.
right. No, I had... That's so funny that you bring that up, and this is random as shit, but I guess it kind of fits with the episode, Valentine's Day. But when I was in preschool, too, I had all kinds of girlfriends. It was like every week it was like a different girl I was hanging out with more, and you would just hang out with them during playtime or whatever,
Of course.
because it's freaking preschool. You're like 3 or 4 years old. But I was already into girls.
Taking
at that
nap time together.
But no, I remember there was like this girl, I think her name was McKenna, which is like kind of a unique name, but there's a few of them out there. That's what I remember it being. And it was funny because I remember her, and there was this other girl who I think was like Christine, maybe. And like I kind of went back and forth between them, but I was really more into Christine. And then this is like me when I'm 4 years old. I'm not even fucking making this up. This is dead serious. I remember this. And I just remember one day we were like sitting at there was a big table we would sit at to like learn about stuff. Cause I actually did learn a lot at preschool that I can remember. It's weird. I remember sitting across the table from the girl and just looking at her, and she was like talking with other people, and it was like that moment of like, she's beautiful. Like, why am I messing around with this other girl? Like, yeah, it was like, and I remember like whispering to her, I was like, hey, and I was like, I'm gonna marry you, and she was like all excited because like she liked me a lot, and I was always kind of like more interested in the other girl.
Ladies, man.
It's so funny. I like did that when I was really, really young. So
me and you were both. We could have been engaged by the time we were 6.
Yeah, right. But aside from our personal love lives,
SpongeBob is skipping around. He's got more hearts to give out. He goes to Sandy. They meet outside the tree dome. So Sandy has her suit on. She says she pulls out her gift for him. It is an acorn with an arrow through it. And she says, here you go, SpongeBob. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm nuts for you.
Aw. Sweet.
Like,
they might be,
So,
a little of this.
So then SpongeBob says, yeah, Sandy, well, I'm chocolate for you. And he grabs out his like bubble wand in
He
a
says,
container.
"I'm bubbles for you."
Oh, I'm bubbles for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he blows a chocolate bubble.
Right. It's a chocolate syrup, and he blows it, and Sandy has a part in her helmet that opens up from the glass,
Yeah.
allows the bubble to go in, and she eats it.
Without
And-
any water getting
and
in.
likes it. Yeah, right, exactly. She's not just dead now. She's not just a drowned squirrel. She's fine completely.
It's funny, yeah, how it just opens up and just closes like it's just like a window or something. Just
Yeah.
like open, close, no problem. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it's gone before you know. And
Very
then,
cartoony.
And then they talk about Patrick's Valentine's Day idea. And he's like, well, Sandy knows that he needs help. And he's like, sure, I'll go over it again. And then there's like a bubble version of the carnival, right?
Yeah, SpongeBob blows a bubble
Chocolate.
version, a chocolate bubble version of the carnival because, yeah, for like the 18th time in the series, someone is blowing bubbles. It's like funny. I never thought of that as I've said it before on the podcast about the bubbles. They blow bubbles so much, it's crazy.
Right.
So he blows the chocolate bubble, and yeah, he blows it into the shape of the carnival, and there's even two little characters bouncing around to represent SpongeBob and Patrick attending the carnival. And SpongeBob narrates, and he's like, he uses that same voice that he uses.
Hall monitor.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's kind of like that gotta be in top physical condition.
Yeah.
Like that same kind. I don't know. That's
yeah,
what it
you should
reminded me
definitely
of.
play it.
Yeah.
Step 1, Patrick and I get to the Valentine's Day Carnival. Step 2, I position Patrick and myself on top of the Ferris wheel. Step 3, you arrive at designated checkpoint for maximum visual contact. Step 4, Patrick is thrilled. Mission accomplished.
And it's cool. You can actually see like the little guys get on the Ferris wheel and like go
Yeah.
up to the top. Like he really has. I mean, his bubble art
He's
is
some kind of dark arts wizard.
yeah. Yeah, Patrick is thrilled. Mission accomplished. And it all bursts all over the screen. And that is our transition to Patrick back at his house. He's sitting on the ground outside his rock.
Yeah, it's a
He's
good
got-
transition too. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
say.
yeah. Very cool. Very a good way to do it for sure. Fred Miller and the gang, you know.
Fred and the mystery machine of creativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Patrick has a heart-shaped rock
Yeah. Well, he
made famous by. Oh wait, no, that's heart.
Nirvana. Heart-shaped rock. We could have a song called Heart-shaped rock.
Yeah, and it's about this.
It would be stupid. Yeah. Yeah, it's about this, right?
Patrick has a heart-shaped rock, and it's on the ground, and he's like holding it. It looks like he's scooping it up and making it, kind of.
Well,
or he
he
just found it.
No, he pounds it. It's two round rocks at first, and he pounds them together and
Right, to
makes
make the
a
heart.
heart out of one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So then SpongeBob comes up, and he's like, "Hey, Patrick," and he's just looking around like, "Huh, SpongeBob, where are you?" And he's just like, "I'm right here." And he's like, "Oh my God, you're trapped in this rock.
Yeah.
SpongeBob's trapped in this rock. No, I'm gonna get you out." And he like starts banging the rock on the ground until it's like a pile of rubble.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No," and he's like, "No, Patrick, I'm right behind you." And he looks behind and he gives him the rubble. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And SpongeBob just looks all happy, and he's kind of like, what's he gonna do with a heart rock anyways? He knew that he made it, and then this funny situation occurred.
Right.
Nothing
right.
wrong to be upset
That
about.
was right. That was his gift for SpongeBob on Valentine's Day, which I don't know. I mean, is Valentine's Day a day where you give people gifts? I mean, like people that aren't your significant other. Do you treat it that way?
No.
You don't get your mom anything, do you?
No.
Right. Like that's what I mean. Like it's just kind of weird that they treat it that way. Like it's a give everybody gifts.
It's like
type holiday.
it's probably meant to be for kids at school, like the same thing, like invite everybody and give gifts
I
to everybody.
guess, but like
just
in the
wanted
sense
to-
of like, oh, I'm gonna do a really big, like, extravagant gift for my best friend on Valentine's Day. It would never happen.
This episode is a little bit,
It's a little weird.
could be a little
Right.
bit considered gay in the sense that like their relationship is just very like the stuff that they do in this is really like what couples would do for
They,
each other.
yeah, no, and they, right. I mean, SpongeBob, he gets gifts for everybody, but his biggest gift is for his best friend Patrick, which we get it. I understand from a wholesome point of view. I get it, but this was an episode that I'm sure added fuel to the SpongeBob and Patrick are gay fire that started way back when, and that.
Not that anything's wrong with it, but
Right,
it's also
absolutely.
something I don't think
is
meant to matter
absolutely.
whether he is or not. Or
I don't
anything.
think they're meant to be at all. I think
Yeah.
they're really just meant to be best friends.
Right,
And,
they're
like,
not meant to
best-
be straight, but they're just meant to be
right.
themselves.
Right, exactly.
And whatever they are is fine.
I mean, I would say SpongeBob is pretty like gender fluid, like gender neutral almost at times.
like he'll
you
kiss
know?
boys,
Sure,
but it's fine. So did Bugs Bunny.
absolutely.
But Bugs Bunny also was nuts for Lola.
Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and played a girl bunny?
No.
Oh,
Why did you?
no.
Oh. Somebody did. A certain bald man. The Fudster. So, SpongeBob says, hey, well, Patrick, this is a great gift, but I am going to give you the greatest, bestest, most fantabulous present ever. But it's not ready yet. So
Yeah.
Patrick is super excited, but now he knows he has to wait.
So immediately he's like, "Is it ready now?"
Nope.
Not yet. This is. It's funny. I've noticed that this. How about now? That line comes up in SpongeBob a lot. They do this now. How about
Yeah.
now? Now they do this gag
Or
a
the
lot.
no.
Right,
like
right. It's the
constant
same
one word,
kind of
yeah.
right. Like just over and over. But specifically, I know I noticed that was like they say "how about now" a lot. Like
Yeah.
now, how about now? Like that just is such a SpongeBob thing to me. It's like
Yeah.
ingrained in my brain.
Or
as a
asking
SpongeBob.
really.
Yeah.
So then Patrick is like laying on the ground. He's like, "Oh, come on." And SpongeBob is like dragging him with one foot and stepping, and he's smiling the whole time, even though we know he's a weakling still, but he's pulling Patrick. He pulls him all the way up a hill, and he's like, "All right, Patrick, here it is." And he points to the carnival. Patrick says,
Patrick, he's ecstatic. He immediately assumes, as he will let us know, that this carnival is the present. And that's kind of the beginning of this gag of everything Patrick sees, he thinks is his present.
"Yeah,
Oh,
you
because
got
he
me
is-
a carnival."
He is so excited for his present. So yeah, he's like, mine. He runs in and he's like, out, everyone, out.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, Patrick, don't be such an a-hole.
Right,
Jeez.
even if you owned it for
yeah,
a day,
share
share it.
Right,
Yeah.
you don't need all the rides at once.
Yeah, there was another show that somebody did that.
Cartman Land.
Cartman Land. Yeah, that's a good one.
South Park. It's just funny because I've been watching it so much. I mean, not actually. I probably cut back a lot this week, but I was watching it so much. I was like, dude, there's an episode for like every scenario, situation, like religious, political, whatever. Like there is an episode that like hits the nail on the head about.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
So he's like, everybody out. And SpongeBob's like, no, I didn't get you the carnival. It's here though. And he's like, here, take this quarter. Oh my God, a quarter. It's like, I've always wanted one.
yeah,
Patrick's
right.
thrilled. He's like, this is the gift. It's a quarter. I'm so excited.
yeah, SpongeBob, it's not the quarter. And
Right, it's
Patrick's
like-
like, oh. He's like,
"Here, take this.
take the quarter and get some cotton candy.
Oh, cotton candy. And he like runs away.
Right,
Which,
right.
pretty cheap deal for cotton candy.
25? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it's probably like a few dollars usually.
Probably because
I can
it's in
eat
the
cotton
water.
candy. You know why? Because it's just fucking sugar, pure sugar,
Yeah.
and nothing else.
Yeah. But It's in the water, so it's probably all soggy. And
Oh
gross.
yeah. Oh my god, wet cotton candy. Yuck.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's like a mean dare to give someone. Eat a bowl full of wet cotton candy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just vomit inducing. It sounds terrible. Maybe it's cool. I don't know.
So then we get to the walkie-talkie. The walkie-talkie starts going off, and it's Sandy, and they're talking, and she's like, "Are you ready for me to move in?" He's like, "Nope, not yet." Patrick's still trying to figure out what his gift is, and it's funny. And then she's like, "All right, well, I'll be nearby," kind of thing. And then these scallops come in, and you can tell that they're scallops because she says it, but they're supposed to be like birds.
Yeah.
They're flying down, and she's like, chocolate eating scallops.
Yeah.
Because she is in the hot air balloon that is made of chocolate and has a big old Patrick on it.
I just like that there's a specific type of scallop that is like a chocolate eating like variety. Like,
Right,
this
and
is the
she can
variety
tell.
that eats chocolate, and I can tell, and they're coming straight for me, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of chocolate, so this is not
They're
good.
coming right for us.
This is bad.
Bad.
So then Patrick, as he was chasing the cotton candy guy around, eventually makes his way back, and he's like, "So if it's not cotton candy, then what is it?" Patrick is kind of, it's like, dude, you don't even deserve a gift with that attitude.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, he just wants to know what it is. It's all being hyped up.
I
He
guess-
says it's something.
I guess
so-
it's fair. I guess he knows he has a gift. He's
Yeah.
just not being given it. I guess
So-
that's fair. Okay.
So he says,
Maybe
"Is
I'm-
it this
Maybe I'm an
tent?
a-hole.
Is it this tent? No. Is it this guy? No. And he
Yeah,
like
this
holds
guy,
up
he
this
holds
fish,
up a man. Yeah, a
and then
fish.
just drops him down on his face. Is it this paramecium?
Yeah, paramecium.
And it's like you can see it looks like bacteria or something. Super.
Yeah. A paramecium. It's a single-celled freshwater animal that has a characteristic slipper-like shape that is covered with cilia. So it's a single-celled organism.
Yeah, and Patrick there just happened to be a little bit of that guy.
Paramecium, yeah.
Yep. In the carnival with a microscope. It was all just
Yeah,
sitting
why
there.
was it there? It's so random. It's still funny though.
But it's also
that's
not his
that's
gift.
the joke, is that it's random as shit.
Yeah, and that Patrick knows what it is.
That too, right? Because Patrick's kind of a dumb stupid in this episode.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I say that because that's what I thought DDS stood for the longest time when I went to the dentist. I was like, I
Dum-dums.
thought that stood for dumb stupid. That's a Parks and Rec joke. It's funny. I make reference to jokes that are so like forgettable, I think, that I just think are hilarious, that nobody ever knows that I'm like constantly making references to things.
Same.
Yeah.
Like this podcast. You know how many people probably get weirded out when we say things like, "Now I'm in a cowboy hat.
Yeah. Now I'm in a cowboy hat.
Now I'm in 3 cowboy hats."
Kia.
Kia.
No, do you ever read the descriptions that I write for the episodes?
Yeah.
Do you
Buns and ties.
Do you see the little like lore of Lonely Island references going on in there?
Somewhat. Yeah.
There's almost always an after party reference, because I'll say, and after that, we do this, but I'll just say a line from the song, and then I'll be like, and after that, we do the second episode. And
Yeah. So then Patrick says, "Is it on top of Mount Climb Up and Fall Off?"
yeah.
And then he runs over to the nearby mountain, falls off, and then he runs back and he's like, "I wasn't up there." And SpongeBob says, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
So
yeah.
to check again, he just runs over and he falls off.
A little bit cruel of SpongeBob to just be like, yeah, go do it again.
Yeah. But he knows he can handle it. It's cartoon land.
Yeah.
Sandy is walking again at this point. She is having some trouble. She's now on top of the air balloon with a whip, and she's whipping the scallops.
Yeah, how does
away.
she get up there? What an athlete she is.
Yeah, and she's saying she's having a little bit of trouble. Just get him up on top of the Ferris wheel, and hopefully I'll be there. And then
Yeah.
she says something like, I'm going to get you, you sweet tooth varmints.
And that's when SpongeBob puts away the walkie-talkie, and he's like, Patrick, it's actually on the Ferris. And then that's when Patrick freaks out and is like, Ferris wheel, yeah. And he runs towards it, and it just cuts right to them on top of the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
It doesn't show them getting on or anything.
Right, so he goes,
I'm ready for the greatest Valentine present in the whole world now, SpongeBob.
Well, this is where you're gonna get it. I hope. Just keep looking out there, pal.
It just looks like a barren, like,
yeah, it's just an empty town.
yeah, just like there's a few buildings, but it's just boring. There's nothing going on. It's just a few buildings in a wasteland and an otherwise open, landscape.
And there's not really a giant chocolate hot air balloon either.
Yeah, there's no you can't see that anywhere in the distance.
So then he gets on the walkie-talkie again, and she's like, I'm not going to be able to make it. You got to do plan B. And it's funny because he's talking on the walkie-talkie, and Patrick's right there.
He's talking
But-
so loud too. I know.
Yeah.
At first he puts his hand up to
Yeah.
do pretend like he is trying to hide it, but eventually he's just yelling into it.
SpongeBob to Sandy. SpongeBob to Sandy. Come in, Sandy.
Sandy to SpongeBob. I got my ox in a ditch here. I'm way off course. Scouts reach the balloon. They're everywhere. Oh, shoot! We're going down, SpongeBob. Switch to plan B.
No B, Sandy. No B. No.
So at this point, we can assume that the Valentine is not coming. This is when SpongeBob is like, you know how sometimes you plan something special and things just don't work out?
And then Patrick's like, holy mackerel, is it hot up here or what?
Yeah. Well, first he's like, no. He's like, I don't know. He's like freak. He's just a weirdo at this
Yeah.
point. He's like a crazy man.
Yeah, we didn't even say that he was wearing like a shirt that has a heart on it.
Yeah, that's true. This whole
Like a white
time,
shirt.
Patrick has been wearing a white T-shirt with a heart on it, which normally he doesn't wear a shirt. So
Yeah.
when he rips it off, it's not that big of a deal. But it's still funny because he's just like freaking out, He's like,
Well, he doesn't usually wear shirts.
well, yeah, right. It would be hot for him, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, he would get hot because he's not used to it.
So then he starts like rocking and shaking crazy, and SpongeBob's like twisting and turning, almost gonna like fall out. They're both gonna like fall out.
Yeah, and he's
then-
he's going back and forth and then up and down, shaking the whole thing. We get like a wide shot where you can see the whole Ferris wheel moving, That's when SpongeBob eventually gives up and decides to extend his hand out to Patrick.
What's that?
A handshake. A friendly handshake.
A handshake? That's the big gift? You got me a handshake?
A friendly handshake. Happy Valentine's Day.
And he's like looking over it and like almost like smelling it. He's like observing it. After this, Patrick he holds his hand up like out and up like he's making a turn on a motorcycle and he's signaling, But he's just holding his hand up and he's got like this look on his face, like his eyebrows are down. He has like a blank. He kind of looks like mad or like he's gonna explode, but he's just stuck there. And they're even in the the bounce house, and SpongeBob's having fun and Patrick's just sitting there
Yeah.
bouncing like that.
This is funny. This was one part that I was like, okay, I remember this, and I remember liking that and thinking it was funny, and I still think it's funny.
Yeah, me too. He's on the roller coaster and he's doing the same thing.
Right. SpongeBob's like enjoying it, trying to hype it up and make it fun. Patrick's not having it.
They go into a fun house and there's like air blowing up under them like they're Marilyn Monroe or something. And SpongeBob like flips completely out of his pants and like
Yeah, he spins around
and gets back in.
and
Yeah,
falls back into his pants.
and
then-
Patrick's like shorts bloom up like real big, and then
Yeah.
they fall under. But he's not impressed. He's
yeah,
like still mad.
He's still in his same pose with his hand up, like all upset.
Yeah,
Sad boy. And that's when
they're sitting on a bench.
they are sitting on a bench.
Sitting
and,
on a park bench. Patrick, like, he gets the look off of his face, and he starts to tell SpongeBob, you know,
I've been thinking. At first, a handshake doesn't seem like much, but really, it's the thought that counts. And at that point, a woman walks up with a box, a heart-shaped box
of chocolates.
of chocolates, and is like, "Oh, hey, SpongeBob, thanks. I just want to say thanks for the chocolates, you know." And he's like, "Oh, no problem, Fran."
Right, and then Patrick's still talking, and then someone else is like, oh, hey, SpongeBob, thanks for the roses, man.
Yeah.
He's like, no problem, Dave.
You too, Dave.
Yeah.
He says Happy Valentine's Day. He goes, "You too, Dave."
Yeah.
I like that line. I don't know why.
And
You
then
too.
Patrick keeps like trying to go on, and then somebody's like, thanks for the bike, SpongeBob. And then she
Yeah.
goes to Patrick and is like, do you believe it? I just met him this morning.
And that makes Patrick a little bit upset. Actually, quite a lot upset. But anyway, he tries to continue his thing. He's like, so I was saying, and then that's when another fourth fish walks up. You know, we have the rule of threes, the three fish, and then the fourth fish. This is how we know he's there for a legit reason. You know, that's like a comedy rule.
Yeah.
And it's like, excuse me, do you guys have the time? And then
Patrick flips out now. He's like tired of being interrupted by people that are thanking SpongeBob for what they're doing. But he's like, Patrick need love too.
yeah, he's gone full like gorilla ape mode.
Similar to when
Ape shit.
similar to the one when SpongeBob became a jellyfish. Patrick said.
Yeah, he went like full, like just, I'm not gonna say. You never go full.
So he like runs over to the balloon stand and he cuts the balloons. And then there's like a man in like a heart costume and there's kids like, yeah, around him. And he goes, I defy you, heart man. And he like runs over to him.
Yeah, he
rips him.
He rips
apart.
his suit off, and it's just the guys in his boxers, and even his
Yeah.
boxers have hearts on them.
Yeah, of course.
And that's when the PA system announces, "Attention, everyone! There's a chubby pink starfish on the loose."
Then everyone screams.
Everyone runs screaming. Yeah.
Is the sky still pink at this point? The
No.
whole episode? Oh, okay.
It was only for the very opening passing out of stuff.
Yeah.
It changed to blue very quickly after that.
So then Patrick sees the giant swing set. Like, it's up on a super high, like, candy cane striped pole. Like a barbershop type thing. And then there's, like, swing on top. Who
Yeah.
knows how well, I guess what it is they get in it and then it shoots them up in the air, right?
Yeah.
So it will come back down. But he goes, heart on stick must die.
Yeah.
And then he runs over to it and he's like trying to pick it up and snap it off. And it zooms out like maybe he might.
Right.
But he can't. It's just too big.
Yeah. And then he sees a little girl eating a heart-shaped lollipop, and then he says,
Well, it's chocolate, isn't it? Like a big
yeah,
chocolate
sure.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
thing on a stick, and heart on stick must die.
Yeah, and he grabs it from her, snaps it in half, and then eats both pieces. So he eats the piece that has just
stick. No actual like food.
Yeah, he's insane.
Everyone's afraid of him.
He's chasing
What does he do
them.
at this point?
He corners them on the pier.
Well, yeah. SpongeBob is like, tries to stop him. He's like, Patrick. This is when Patrick turns around and he's just like,
Patrick!
Yeah, he's just insane.
And everyone gets all freaked out. That's when they are backed up to the dock after he does that crazy noise. And then he's like, give me SpongeBob. And SpongeBob gets thrown out. You know, they throw him to him like he's a piece of meat. And he's like, you broke my heart. No, I'm going to break something of yours.
Yeah,
She's
who
like,
knows?
fuck,
Yeah.
Patrick. Jeez, dude.
He's really messed up. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, give me SpongeBob.
And he's like, I know I deserve this, but do they? And he's like, they didn't give me anything either.
And then they throw like some chocolates and flowers and stuff.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah, they
like,
all
nope,
throw stuff. He's like, nope,
it's too late.
too late for that now. And that's when, just in the nick of time, wow, it's funny. On this transcript, it says, walks onto and over the gifts, about to kill everyone, starting with SpongeBob. That's what it says.
So he does. He walks in. He's going to start to kill everyone. But then we see Sandy ride up with the balloon. And there's patches where the scallops bit it. And then she's also using them as like birds to fly her there.
Yeah, a bunch of like Band-Aids over or bandages, I should say, over the boo-boos on the heart. But it's still flying, and she was able to tame the thingy things.
The scallops, yeah.
The scallops quick enough to be there just in the nick of time before SpongeBob is killed by Patrick on Valentine's Day.
And
It would have been a St. Valentine's Day massacre.
So then SpongeBob's like, the greatest gift ever is right behind you. It's behind you. And he's like, no. And the people are like, yeah, just look behind you. And he's like, what do you think? I'm stupid?
No! Turn around! Turn around! No! I'm gonna say this once, and I'm not gonna say it again, so pay attention! I am not, I repeat, not going to turn around for any reason ever!
Howdy, Patrick.
Hi, Sandy!
Happy Valentine's Day, Patrick.
Yay! Yay! My Valentine! Hey, is that solid chocolate?
Patrick, no!
Oh, SpongeBob, you didn't have to give me anything.
I am not, I repeat, not going to turn around for any reason ever. And right at that moment,
Sandy.
howdy, Patrick.
And he turns around.
right around.
Oh, hi, Sandy.
No, and
He
that's,
goes full.
Yeah, he goes full. That's just the term because we got to be PC, but people will still know what that means. But yeah, Patrick is all excited. He jumps onto the balloon and he's like, yay, my Valentine. Hey, is this solid chocolate? And of course, before the answer, he decides to take a big old bite.
Yeah, and SpongeBob's like, no, Patrick, don't. And then it
Pop.
pops and chocolate shoots everywhere. So it had chocolate syrup in it. It's so crazy.
Right?
It must have been like rubber with chocolate
How
syrup.
the frick? It makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
It should have just been.
Otherwise, it wouldn't fly.
It should have been just air in there, and
Yeah.
that's what it was earlier when the thing bit it.
Yeah.
So
Because it was chocolate syrup on the bottom and whatever. So the whole everything is covered in chocolate.
yeah,
And then
The whole
even
world.
SpongeBob and Patrick, and we can see them.
they're in a big pile of pudding. It looks like.
Yeah, they're right next to each other, and Patrick goes, "Aw, SpongeBob, you didn't have to get me anything." But it's like, of course that's what you say, but clearly you just tried to murder him because he got you a handshake.
Right. And like we were saying before the episode, this one like didn't seem like one of our favorites, but it really wasn't bad. But like I had said that maybe this episode wasn't as memorable or as fun because it's all kind of working towards that joke at the end. there are jokes throughout, and some of them are pretty good. Like, I would say probably my favorite line of the episode was the one about the bike, where she's like, I just met this guy today. It's just funny. But there wasn't a lot of super memorable lines.
Or Patrick kill hard on stick, or must kill hard on stick.
Yeah. But really, there wasn't a lot of like memorable lines from this episode. It's a relatively forgettable episode, I would say. From this time period.
It was just a holiday episode, you know?
Yeah, the holiday ones so far have been like the more forgettable ones, I guess, because they feel obligated to do them or something. They're not as organic, maybe. I don't know. But not a bad episode at all. But like I said, it all kind of worked. The whole episode is kind of working towards that joke of at the end because like from the very beginning, the first time we see Patrick, we're hyping up this gift.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's like, oh, I didn't need anything.
Yeah.
It ends up like.
He clearly did.
Right. He definitely did need something for sure.
So the moral of the episode is
don't
be thankful for anything. I don't know.
It's funny because
Like,
I said don't, and then you just said be thankful for anything, so it probably sounded funny. But no, I would say, I mean, I guess don't be thankful for anything. No, I would say it's, I don't know if there's really a moral so
Like
much
Patrick
as it is
is-
just a funny story.
Patrick's the one who's supposed to learn the lesson, but it doesn't seem like he does.
Yeah, he doesn't learn his lesson at all because he's a dope.
And there's nothing for SpongeBob to learn. Like he had a
SpongeBob
good
had
heart
his
in
shit
it.
together, yeah.
yeah. Maybe it was don't like
Not the
hype
best
stuff up.
Yeah, not the best plan, yeah.
Yeah.
But
All
not
right,
the best
so
execution, maybe.
next we have the paper.
What do we got? We start with a shot of Squidward's house.
But first we have to talk about the credits.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was kind of interesting in that these two episodes pretty much have all the same credits, aside from one. So the storyboard artist was Jay Lender again. Storyboard director was Chuck Klein again. It was written by them two, along with Mr. Lawrence instead of Meriwether Williams. That was the difference. Animation director was Fred Miller again, and creative director Dick Drymon.
You know, I actually
You can't call him Dick. No, that's not his name.
I actually went on LinkedIn and I went on Facebook and every Twitter looking for Derek Drymon. Can't find any information on him.
What?
Like an email or
Oh,
like
really?
a profile of any kind that belongs to him. Can't find it.
That's funny.
I'm looking,
that's
though.
something. Yeah.
So this episode starts off with Squidward and he's ready to lay down. He comes out of his house, he grabs his foldable chair, he lays it out, he sits in it. It's like the meme, but this isn't the one from the meme. I believe in that one he has sunglasses or something.
Okay.
And he like has the newspaper and
If
he looks
not,
over.
if it's not the one from the meme, it's dangerously close to it. It's like
It is.
almost exactly the same.
It is, but what he does is he pulls out a little gum ball, unwraps it, puts the gum in his mouth,
Yeah.
and throws the paper into the nature because he's a dick.
Yeah, he's Squidward. And the paper lands on SpongeBob's walkway, and there's this weird deal where SpongeBob's house is like way like far away, but you can tell that it's animated, like it's gonna move. It's not drawn like normal when it's still, you know.
Yeah.
And his house like enlarges to the point where the front door is right in front of the paper. I don't know what was going on with that. If they just did that just for fun or what.
Yeah, it was like he moved the house forward.
It
or
didn't
something.
serve any purpose. Yeah, it was just like a fun little thing, I guess. He opens the door, grabs the wrapper, and he's like, Squidward. And Squidward spits out his gum, and he sees SpongeBob, and he's like, nope, back inside.
Yeah. When he spits his gum out, too, you can hear a ting.
Oh, like
Like-
it hits the spittoon.
Yeah.
Oh! Squidward!
Well, time to go.
Squidward!
Squidward, wait!
Now what?
You dropped this little piece of paper.
Yeah? So what?
I just figured you probably want it back.
What's the big deal? It's only garbage.
Garbage? But Squidward, in the right hands, this paper is a gold mine of entertainment. A spectacular afternoon of underwater fun. A treasure trove of...
Garbage.
So you don't want it?
Right.
Does that mean I can have it?
Yes, by all means, take it. Hello?
You sure?
Yes! For the final time, I don't want that paper. It's yours forever and ever.
Squidward cuts him off and says garbage. And he walks inside his house. And SpongeBob was like, so you don't want it? He's like, correct. Closes the door. And
Even though, like, really, what I would have done was like, hey, pick up your litter, you freaking crazy. You're ruining
don't
the
throw
ocean.
Not only
Or the
that,
sea.
he throws it on like it'd be like if you
On his
threw
property.
trash on your neighbor's lawn. Yeah, if you got out of your car and threw your fucking like garbage out just right onto your neighbor's lawn, like
Right, but
that'd
instead
be fucked up.
he's like, you don't want this, as in I want this.
Right.
And he's like, are you definitely positively sure? And he's like, yes, I'm sure. Come on. And he closes the door on him. He's like, yeah, I told you, I'm sure. And his phone is ringing. And he's like, oh, I got to go answer the phone.
Yeah.
And he answers it. And he's like, hello, Squidward Tentacles. And he's like all happy looking.
Yeah, he's got this big smile on his face.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, are you sure? Gee, like now SpongeBob called him just to make sure. And he's like, this is your last chance. He's like, yes, I don't want the paper. Hangs up the phone. From under the phone table, SpongeBob is there, and he's like, are you really sure? He's being so, like, if you wanted this back, you've had so many opportunities, Squidward.
Right. He
So
gives
why
him
would he?
he gives him so much chance to get it back. So
And he says, no matter how much I beg and plead and cry, do not give it back to me ever. And SpongeBob says, I'll take it as a possible no.
Promise me, no matter how much I may beg and plead and cry, don't give that paper back to me. Ever.
So I take that as a possible no? Squidward? 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 Okay, Squidward. That's a promise I'll just have to keep. Ah, Mr. Paper. I am so lucky to have a friend like Squidward.
So it's just funny because SpongeBob takes Squidward littering on his yard as him giving him a gift, which is
Right.
like SpongeBob's innocent, sweet nature.
So Squidward goes to play the clarinet, and he starts to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. But it sounds all dumb.
Yeah, it's like it's like flat, like all the notes are flat, basically.
And he's like playing the parts out of order, and
Yeah,
it's crazy.
and you can hear SpongeBob outside giggling. So Squidward peeks at him, and he's like, "What are you giggling about?" He's like, "I'm sorry, Squidward."
I'm
It's
just
he like can't even contain himself.
yeah.
I'm thinking of all the fun I'm gonna have with this piece of paper.
He's just thinking about the fun he's gonna have, and he's still just standing in front of Squidward's door, and he's laughing so loud that it disrupts him.
Right, and then Squidward begins to play again, but the laughter continues.
Yeah, it's like a da la 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 da la la, like he's going between laughing and
right.
playing.
And then he peeks again, and SpongeBob is outside, like holding the paper up above his head, running around. Gary's out there in the yard, and he's like, "Gary, watch this," and he like,
Look what I am.
yeah,
And he puts the piece of paper like in front of his pants, and then he picks up his body and flips it around like to the side, and he flips it around, and when it lands, like now the piece of paper is behind him, stuck to him.
Right, and Gary's like, "Meow."
Yeah.
And SpongeBob, of course, says, "Yes, Gary, I'm a sponge with paper stuck in his pants, but I'm also super sponge, soaking up crime. See, here's my cape."
Yeah, and he's like flapping it with his hand.
He's blowing on it, and and Squidward, super morons, more like it. and then SpongeBob jumps out of his pants and he's like, "Now I'm SpongeBob Jungle Pants."
And he has the paper as a loincloth, as we've seen him have before.
Don a loincloth in the past.
Yeah.
And
literally in the past.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Squidward continues watching. SpongeBob, he swings on a vine to get on top of his house.
Yeah.
And he's
I'm SpongeBob Jungle Pants.
Boy.
Oh. SpongeBob Jungle Pants summon animal friends.
And then Gary tells him something, and SpongeBob says, "You're right, I'm not a jungle boy. I'm a box of army supplies." Which,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah,
that's
duh,
what you
Patrick.
are, SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And he jumps off the pineapple and uses the thing as like a parachute, like an airdrop, you know?
Yeah.
And then he lands, and he's like, landing just in time for the bullfight.
He goes, Toro, Gary, Toro. And he's like moving it like he wants Gary
He's
to
trying-
run through the paper
Yeah, he's trying
like
to
a bull.
He's trying to do the bullfighter gimmick
Yeah.
with Gary.
But Gary isn't moving. So he like, there's this like rock behind him and he uses it for leverage and uses his other leg to like kick Gary under the paper. And he's like, hooray.
Yeah. Oh, well, he says ole, which is what you would say.
Yeah,
The
when he goes
bullfighters.
through.
The
Ole.
bullfighters say ole, not
Yeah.
hooray.
Whatever.
I know. But he's like, now for some impressions. And he's a guy with a mustache. And he just puts it on his face. And it does actually look like one of those like old man, thick, square mustaches.
Yeah. Right after we just talked about him wishing he had a mustache.
Right.
in
Yeah,
his
yeah,
dream.
yeah. There's a lot of mustache SpongeBob humor there.
Yep.
And-
And then he says, now I'm a pirate. And he puts the paper over his eye and goes, arr.
I'm a pirate.
Yeah, arr, I'm
regular
a pirate.
guy.
And then he goes, now I'm just a regular guy with an eye patch.
Yeah.
Arr, I am not a pirate.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Because
That's
it's like
funny.
the same impression, and obviously only a pirate would say arg. But
Yeah.
he's being someone who's not a pirate, but has an eye patch.
Yeah.
Perhaps a pirate in disguise.
It's a good it's a funny joke.
Yeah, and at this point, Squidward is like outside now of his house watching, like through the coral, you know?
Yeah, right.
He's so...
he needs to watch.
Yeah.
He's getting into it. He's like subconsciously. He's not aware that he's getting into it, but he is.
And SpongeBob has the paper, and he's like inhaling, and he sucks it in his body, and then he exhales, and it goes out a different hole, and he just keeps moving it in and out of his holes.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking weird, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Holes, right?
And Squidward's like looking. He goes, "How do you do that?"
Yeah. And then he says, "Look, Gary, origami."
Right, which is origami done orally.
Yeah, with your mouth. And he sticks it in his mouth, and he sticks and like basically just like chews it up, and sticks his tongue out, and it's a bird or a crane,
swan.
as I think
Yeah.
you would say, or a swan maybe perhaps. But
I
then
think
there's
it was a
like
crane.
kids.
Yay! Snowflake, yay! Paper doll, yay!
Hey, that little paper does seem like fun. What am I saying? I am such an idiot.
All the kids are so happy.
And Squidward goes, that does look fun. And he goes, what am I saying? I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Come on. He needs to pull himself together. He's like, that's not fun. And he gets back in his house. He lays in his chair, or sits in his chair, and has a book in front of him. And he says, reading boring Science Digest is fun.
Yeah.
And he's like reading it, and he's like, erosion. Mitosis. But then SpongeBob's laugh interrupts him, and he's like, you can tell he's like, no, this isn't fun. So he goes up and he's like, having a bath would be fun. And he's like in the bath with his legs spread out, and there's a rubber duck in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, his legs are spread out.
He's spread seagull.
Spread seagull?
So as he's up there, though, SpongeBob has a paper airplane that comes in, and it's like flying through, and then it sees the rubber duck, and it goes like, like SpongeBob makes the noises with his mouth, but the plane does look like it's shooting.
Yeah.
But there's nothing actually coming out.
Yeah.
And then the rubber duck like tips straight up and falls into the water like it's a ship.
Yeah. And then Squidward is out of the bath. He's painting fruit because what is more fun than painting fruit? And it's actually a really nice painting. The one he does is like really good.
Yeah, he has a bowl of fruit in front of him and he's drawing that.
Yeah, and he hears SpongeBob laughing outside, and Squidward continues painting, but like distracted, I guess, by SpongeBob. And
yeah, he's like looking out the window, but he's like, still painting
he's like
forward.
he's like not looking at what he's doing, and then when he looks back, he's repainted a whole new painting of him holding the paper in front of his face. Which is just like a random thing too. He's just holding it up like just like this right in front of his face.
Yeah.
It's like what? Okay. Like it could have been him like holding it like this, or something. But it's just like
to the side.
Right in front of his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's to the side. Right. Sorry. I was
Yeah.
doing visual stuff.
Yeah. Or he could have done it like this, or like this, or like this.
He could have done it a lot of different ways. Here's 10. Yeah.
Instead, he draws himself holding the paper because he always draws himself.
Yeah,
And
he does
even
do that
turned
anyway.
the fruit bowl into himself.
Yeah. He notices the painting. He tears it up, and he's like, I'll prove that paper is not fun. And he goes outside and he's playing with the paddle ball thing, the ball with the string on it and the paddle.
Stick. Yeah, or on a paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paddle ball.
Yeah.
String.
And he's like, I'm having fun. And
yeah. He's, like you said, he's going out to prove now to SpongeBob that the paper isn't fun. Not to himself, but to SpongeBob.
Right.
So he's playing that, but he gets distracted easily, and then he's like, SpongeBob, paper isn't fun. Watch this. And he goes, look, this is little Squidward, and he has a puppet of himself, and he's like moving the mouth and talking, and he's like, what's gray and ugly and has 6 arms? Or no, he asks
other way around.
Yeah, Squidward says, what's gray and ugly and has 6 arms? And little Squidward says, I don't know, but have you looked in the mirror lately? And Squidward's like, hey, wait, what the?
Yeah, right.
Like almost he didn't do it on purpose, but SpongeBob's laughing like it was funny.
Yeah, I know. That's a weird joke. Like, I can't tell if Squidward's cell is like part of the act or
right,
not.
if it is, he's good.
Yeah, right. So then SpongeBob is like, oh, let me try. And he folds the paper in half to make it like a mouth. And he's like, you heard any good jokes, Mr. Paper?
It's like he's doing the mouthing with his hands like you would do with your thumb and fingers, but he has the paper in the middle of it.
He just folds the paper, and puts it in between his fingers and thumb.
Yeah.
With the shape of an L on his forehead. And SpongeBob...
Now let me try. Have you heard any good jokes, Mr. Paper?
What happened to the paper that fell in the ocean?
I don't know. What happened to the paper that fell in the ocean?
It was all washed up.
And then a group of people swarm around to start cracking up at the joke.
Yeah, because it was way funnier than Squidward's.
It was so funny that, right. Everyone heard Squidward's too, but SpongeBob was so good they had to run up and laugh.
Yeah.
And then
it cuts to Squidward, and he's driving around, and he's like, oh, SpongeBob, look at my new shell cart. And it's like a go-kart, but it looks like a shell.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, can your paper do this? And then SpongeBob comes in from the sky, and he's like, no, I guess it can't. But he's like helicoptering down. It's like his own personal helicopter,
Yeah.
this paper. And Squidward is pissed, and he like drives the shell cart into his house and comes out with his clarinet.
Yeah, and he's like, you can't play music with a piece of paper.
Hooray! Hooray! That was great, Squidward. All those wrong notes you play made it sound more original.
What? I didn't play any wrong notes.
Yeah, see, you're playing it like this. When ordinarily it goes like this. I'm partial to doing it in the key of A minor myself. Nothing like a duet between buddies, eh, Squidward?
He's like, the way that you added those wrong notes
Yeah.
made it sound like it was an original.
Right.
And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And
right.
SpongeBob's like, well, look, you played it like this when it should be played like this. And then he gets into it, and then it's like all jazzy, but he's
Right.
just playing almost the paper like a harmonica at some points, like moving it.
Yeah.
But then at some points he's like grabbing it and stretching it.
Like a trombone or something.
yeah, but it looks like creative and
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like too when he plays it at first, like the notes literally like materialize and fall to the ground. It's just kind of a cool thing.
yeah,
And
for
then-
both of them.
And then when SpongeBob starts going all crazy, you see like a musical score like becomes
in
the
the back.
backdrop.
Yeah, and it even switches to a different one. Like it's like that for a while. It's very cool looking
Yeah, and
for people who enjoy music, I guess.
yeah, it's just cool. I like any kind of backdrop thing like that. A
Yeah.
backdrop like gag. It adds to the joke, you know. And that's when Squidward is like, or SpongeBob is like, nothing like a duet between buddies, eh, Squidward?
Yeah,
And of course, Squidward is not happy at all. So he's like, give me my paper back. And
and he's like grabbing it and moving it, but SpongeBob, his arm, like his shoulder and body don't move at all, but his arm is like moving with Squidward wherever he's trying to pull. And he's like, no, I can't.
yeah,
He's like, well, why not?
because I
And-
promised, right?
Yeah. And he's like, here, look. And he turns the paper into a flip book.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is animation within animation. That's just kind of funny. Because he makes the flip book and he flips it, and it's funny.
An easy way to just take up time as
Sure, yeah, you replay the clip, but it's funny because it's done well though, and it's
Yeah.
made funny because they replay it and it's played differently. Like you can see that it's part of a flip book.
yeah, it has less frames per
Yeah,
second.
right. But it's funny because there's still sound, so it's like he's literally playing. He's just flipping a flip book, but it literally like has Squidward's voice in it and everything.
Yeah, and he's like, it's him saying,
Don't
no matter
yeah.
how much I beg and cry and everything. And then he's like, you want to see it again?
Right, SpongeBob.
No, I don't want to see it again.
Right, and he's like, sorry, Squidward, I'm sworn to a promise, and he leaves. And Squidward is like, wait, we could make a trade, and he's like, yeah, something. He's looking around trying to find something he could trade, and he's like, he reaches in his pocket, and he's like,
What
SpongeBob.
pocket?
I don't know. That's what it said.
His
he
flesh
reaches in
pocket?
his pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
His fleshy. He reaches into his
His
flappy
Toby fold.
folds.
His flappy foldy hold.
His toldy foldy holds.
Yeah. So then they're on their way to the Terry Fold dance. Oh, wait, no, they're not. He pulls out. You can see a close up of what he pulls out. It's a rubber band and pocket lint. And SpongeBob's like, ooh, pocket lint.
Yeah.
He goes, lint for paper.
Yeah.
Huh? And he's like, no. He's like, the rubber band. It's like, oh.
He's like, do I dare? He's like,
Yeah.
dare.
He's
like, okay.
No,
No,
I can't.
you're testing me. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, Don't worry, Squidward. I won't let you down. A promise is a promise. So he thinks
He's like,
it's
all right. Yeah, he still thinks it's part of the test,
Mm-hmm.
just to test their friendship. And he gets a wheelbarrow, Squidward does, and he's moving his TV from one side to the other. He's moving.
Yeah, well, yeah, he says that SpongeBob isn't going anywhere
Yeah.
until they strike a deal. So that's when he starts giving him everything.
He's giving him like statues. He's giving him his whole house at this point, and he just moves everything. And he's like, well,
Well, that's the last of it. I've given you everything but the shirt off my back.
Oh, Squidward, is this still part of the test? Because it's really getting harder and harder to keep my promise.
Okay, the shirt. Take it. Take my shirt.
Squidward's shirt. I've always loved that shirt. Okay, I'll trade.
and he takes his shirt off,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Take my shirt. And SpongeBob's like, Squidward's shirt. I've always loved that shirt.
yeah.
Okay, I'll trade. I can break a promise for this, Squidward. Do you want your other stuff? Because this is all I need.
Yeah, so he's like,
That's
your house
strange.
and all your belongings, take them. I will just take your shirt for the paper.
That is very strange, indeed.
He just wants something that Squidward loves and has been in.
I guess.
Squidward's like, no, this is all I need.
Right.
Haha, this
You
is
can
all
have.
I want.
You can have all that junk.
So now he's naked, dancing where his house used to be, and he's like, oh, impressions. I'm a guy with paper on his nose. And he did, like, exactly what he drew up.
Yeah. I see. And he's like,
Yeah, he realizes maybe this isn't fun.
and then he's like, wait. And then he puts it in his mouth to try to do the chewy
Yeah.
tongue stick out gag that was done earlier. And he's like, ta-da. And it's just
Spit up,
spitball. Yeah.
Like a wad of paper.
And the children make a return with a boo.
It's like a pretty aggressive boo.
Yeah,
You should
yeah.
play that one.
Ta-da!
For sure.
Yeah, the children return with the boo.
And then he's like, oh, I know. Impressions. Right?
No, you already said that.
Or,
didn't you?
oh, yeah. Not impressions. He's doing helicopter. And he goes, gentlemen, start your engines. And he has, like, the piece of paper up
Yeah.
on top of his tentacle, but it's not moving.
He's
or
like, I'm
anything.
flying. Oh yeah, I'm flying. That's right. And then, but he's not. He like keeps trying to like take off, but he's not. He
Yeah.
keeps saying it over
It's
and
not
over
even
again.
spinning
though.
either.
He's like, I'm flying.
And then he
And-
looks over, and Gary's, like, Gary and SpongeBob are messing with SpongeBob's things, like, or
Right.
Squidward's things.
Gary is tooting the clarinet.
Yeah, is he on top of the mirror too that SpongeBob's using to look at himself in Squidward's shirt?
Yeah, SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And it's funny the way that the shirt like fits SpongeBob. It makes his neck more narrower. Like he has to like squeeze his like square body through the
Yeah.
hole. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny.
And Gary's just like, he's just kind of playing constant noise. So
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, Gary's even better than Squidward, but it's like, ew, this has like, now when he gets it back, it's going to have snail saliva.
That's been in a
everywhere.
snail's mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when
The
Squidward is like, more impressions. A guy throwing a piece of paper on the ground. And he throws it.
And now a guy stomping on a piece of paper.
And he stomps on it. And he's like, I am a guy who traded everything he owns for a... Pat-
It's like, yeah, he's like, I'm the guy who traded everything he owns for, like, he's like realizing just how like bad he messed up as he's saying it.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything he owns for, and then Patrick goes, oh, worthless piece of paper. And he grabs it, spits his gum into it, and throws it away.
Yeah.
And
So it's funny. It returns to where it was with gum.
It was supposed to be, yeah. And now Squidward has nothing to show for everything that he got rid of. And we hear Patrick say, hey, nice shirt, SpongeBob.
Yeah. I love it too how he just throws the gum behind him and it just lands. It's funny. They just
it lands in like a trash.
They drew an actual garbage can, for it to land in, and it's like a pretty.
Like bounces off.
It's not just like a wire. They could have made that garbage can real shitty. They actually drew it pretty like nice. Like there's stuff falling out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
Someone took their time on that
for like a 2-second.
Yeah, someone took their time on that trash can.
So then it zooms out. And we see Squidward just in the area where his house used to be. And he just says, does anyone have any sunscreen? Because that's all he wants now. Because he knows he's a dummy.
He's going to need it.
He just doesn't want to have to burn since he has no roof.
He has nothing. Yeah, he's going to die.
And he has no shirt.
What is the moral of the story, Zachary?
You can't trust the system.
Man.
The moral of the story is one man's trash is truly another man's treasure. Sometimes it's not about what something is, but the person using it.
Although I do wonder why didn't it work for Squidward? Why did none of it work for Squidward? Is it just
he's just not as talented as SpongeBob?
SpongeBob is just better with paper, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, he's practiced playing the instrument of it and stuff, and
it's funny. This one's kind of similar to Idiot Box in the way of like being jealous of the thing, the inanimate thing that SpongeBob's having fun with.
Yeah.
It's almost the exact same story.
It is.
Really.
It is.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why this one maybe gets forgotten by me a little bit because Idiot Box is a better version of it. Yeah. But this one is good. I do remember it. I remember enjoying it as a kid. I remember talking about this one at school with people and like joking about like playing music with paper and stuff. I do recall that. So it is a thing. You can make noise with paper.
Yeah, you can.
It can be done for sure.
In E minor.
You suck. But anyway, I mean,
That's it.
that's it. Bye.
Rabbit kicked the bucket. Dog said fuck it. But that's it for us here.
So no ratings from Zach, because he's just not feeling like giving ratings to these episodes.
Yeah.
And I will rate them good, but not great. I think that's what I'm going to say. Not my favorites, but not bad. I'd watch them again, but I wouldn't seek them out over almost any other SpongeBob episode. So
Yeah. Like a vanilla frosty.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just tried it.
It's a wonderful
fine,
it's a wonderful
but it's
treat. I mean,
It's
hey.
like, gotta get the chocolate.
I mean, yeah, they have chocolate though. So
Yeah.
why would I get vanilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
It's
how
still
it goes.
good if you don't have a choice.
So Zachary, what are we gonna do with this drunken sailor that's on our hand? This week he is played by.
Before we get there, we should probably tell the people who we are and where to find us.
That's it. Okay, so
I've been Alex Beardsley. You can find me all around the internet at Ashton Waganda. That's ASHTON WAGANDHA. My real name is Alex Beardsley, though, so you can also find me there. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on anywhere that you find your podcasts. And if you would like to leave us a message or give us a rating, we would love that. Please go on iTunes and rate us.
please. My name is Zach Main. I'm mystified on the internet. And totally rad Zach.
With an underscore?
Totally rad _ Zach. And that's it. No, and you can send us some fan mail with any questions, comments, or fun little ditties that you might have at Striped Sweater Productions at gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Striped Sweater Productions. And we call ourselves that because we have plans to do more productions outside of this one in the future. So zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, my oh my.
Maybe we're working on some right now.
What?
Maybe we're not. Who knows? Next week, we will have Arg and Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom going to be one of the biggest ones of the season.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because Rock Bottom is like top tier in my head. And then Arg, it's like, okay, yeah, they're pirates. They're like looking for treasure. What happens in that one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
We'll find out. Come
But-
back next week to find out.
yeah.
But until then, we have just ran into a drunken sailor being played by who?
Let's say Will Ferrell.
Phil Ware.
Will Ferrell is a drunken sailor. You're on his ship.
That's it.
It's early as fuck in the morning.
Okay. Are his nuts on my drum set?
That's up to you to decide, bud. He is drunk as shit. If you have a drum set, you better believe he's probably thinking about doing something weird with it.
Yeah. I would say I'm going to put bars of soap in a pillowcase and beat the shit out of you. And definitely, I would never call him dad. Not even if there was a fire. And then we would go streaking because he's my boy, Blue.
And then we would say a prayer to sweet baby Jesus.
And then we would try keystering the baby Jesus.
Yeah. And then we would goof around and wrestle in The Ladies Man. Have you seen The Ladies Man?
I don't think so.
It's not
And then-
a great movie, but it's kind of funny just for novelty's sake.
And then we would jump out of a helicopter dressed as Abe Lincoln and deploy a bunch of sex toys and fall to our deaths.
Indeed. That is what we're going to do.
That's from The Goods.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know because nobody knows that movie. Nobody ever saw that except you. You're the only one. You're the only one. You're the only one.
No homo.
Yeah. No homo.
Bye, everyone.
Let's goof around and wrestle. Okay. Bye, baby boys and girls. And baby Jesus. Bye.